Instead of watching someone else's hunting and fishing show, why don't you get your crapper out of bed and let's go film our own?
I'm working on it. I'm not a morning person, and that's a real damper for hunting.
This week on the Chase TV, I'm spotting stalking giant mule deer in the benchlands of Southern Alberta. Let the chase begin. Southern Alberta is renowned for its world-class mule deer population. The landscape's an excellent habitat and breeding ground for these mule deer. Agricultural food sources and the vast number of rolling hills and deep coulees are where these mule deer love to bed, and it extends for miles. Ranching's the way of life in these parts, and the deer share the grasslands with large numbers of cattle. Ranchers here are very accommodating when it comes to hunting on their private land. So I did a couple of trips this summer to try to put this hunt all together. One of the things that I love the most about the chase is the small towns that I get to see, the people I get to meet, and the Western heritage that I get to take in. I used Claresholm, Alberta as my base this year, and this town overflowed with Western heritage, so it was a real treat to take this all in. So as I was driving all over town trying to take in all this Western heritage this town has to offer, I kept driving past a sign that really piqued my interest, and I just had to go in and see what was going on. I can honestly say I had no idea the excitement these cowboys and cowgirls were about to unleash inside this arena. What a great show to be able to take in. But I still had a couple months to wait till November 1st to be able to come back down south here and start my chase for a giant Alberta mule deer. November finally came and I headed back down south. Now I've waited 5 years for this tag, so I have my sights set on a good 4x4. It's the first morning and I'm pumped to get this chase underway. Just saw a decent looking buck from afar come down into this draw. We see some does bedded in here, but he's right over the ridge. So we're gonna have to do a peek over here. This may happen pretty quick if he's right in there, but we'll get a look at him anyway and see what we can do. Decent looking buck, just a little light for what we want on first day. You can see, definitely not spooked. I mean, we're standing up here. It's only about 100, 110 yards to him, and absolutely no problem standing here. This buck was a beautiful, healthy deer, but just not the buck that I was looking for. He did, however, help me get over my early morning jitters. So it was back to the truck, cover some ground, and see if we couldn't find a better deer. Well, we found a buck that we want to make a play on. He's right now he's about 3/4 of a mile away, and he just went up over a knoll, and it looks like it's going to give us a good play. So we're going to get the truck parked. There's a bunch of deer actually where we're going to have to walk through. Not concerned about them. It's far enough away to where he went, and he's all by himself. I think I'm going to pass on him for the first morning. We're seeing lots of deer. I think it's better just to pass. You know, like Dennis was just saying, when we see stomper bucks, you know right away, and we've been trying to judge him and see if he's one that we want. And I mean, if we have to look that hard at him, I think I'd be disappointed actually if we got over to him on the ground. So we know he's in here. There's lots of deer in here. If we have to, you know, we got 3 days to make this happen, so you know, we can always come back. There's lots of deer to be had, so I don't see any reason why we should make a move on this one now. We're going to back out of here and go glassing. We didn't find any more deer the rest of the day, so it was back to the hotel for a little R&R. Dennis had to head home, and cameraman Doug, he was on his way out to meet me at the hotel, and we'd take a run at these deer again in the morning. Morning of day 2, this mule deer hunt, and we just got to a spot that we want to start at this morning, and we're just waiting for good camera light. We'll get up here and start glassing the fields. Yesterday, fantastic day. Saw a lot of deer, some good bucks, but we did pass a couple that we may shoot today. It's one of those things you don't want to take on your first day, but they were good bucks. We reviewed the footage in that last night. Nothing wrong with those deer. So hopefully day 2 we can get her done here. We got a skiff of snow overnight, so that might help us for seeing them in the fields anyway. Good night's sleep, ready to rock. So hopefully we can get into some good mule deer this morning. We were about 25 kilometers away from where we were on the first day. I had seen lots of deer in this area in past years, and no joke, at daylight, there was deer everywhere. Well, we just got daylight, 5 minutes in, and we're on deer like crazy already. There's 2 bucks in there, both 3x3s, you know, nice looking deer. But with all the deer that are in here, again, I'm gonna just have my patience here this morning and see if we can't find something good. They're rutting pretty good actually. These bucks are dogging these does, and they don't seem too concerned with us at all. You can see this one buck here in the middle of the field. He's just keeping an eye on these does. There's another one dogging a doe here right now. Yeah, there's lots of animals here for sure. To find big deer, you have to pass the smaller ones. These bucks are definitely not what I'm looking for, so it's back to the truck and we'll cover more ground. think, eh? Well, we're 9 minutes into the hunt here this morning, and deer everywhere. We've seen 5 different groups of them, a buck in every group. They're all 3-bys, decent bucks, but with this many deer here, I definitely want to wait and see if we can find something a little bit bigger, I think. Crazy amount of deer, though. For the next couple hours, we covered a lot of ground and glassed a lot of deer. I have never hit the rut at such a peak to see these bucks running around like they were. I just couldn't find the deer that I wanted to take. You know, again, another spot, a lot more deer, good bucks, 3-bys. They're good looking deer, but they're 3-point. We're really looking for a 4-point on each side. Couple good looking deer. We everywhere we've looked here this morning, there's some really decent bucks, just not the 4x4 that we're looking for. The buck that's over here in the knoll, he's good and wide. He's probably 22 inches wide, but he's a 3-by. So we'll keep on checking. There's absolutely no lack of deer. We've saw probably 60 this morning already. With these mule deer, it's all about patience. If you cover ground, glass, and keep your finger off the trigger, you'll find that special buck. We have found a shooter buck. We got a bit of a hike through this knoll to get there. There's a couple bucks in it. It's a good 4x4 in there. Nice and wide. It's got some mass to him. So, it's time. The wind's really down compared to yesterday. Yesterday was terrible. It's pretty calm this morning, so it's going to be a little bit easier, I think, for us to get on here. We're going to get up on the knoll, see if we can't get within a couple hundred yards and make a good clean shot. Nice deer. Once I crested the knoll, I knew my opportunity for a closer shot was not going to happen. The does were headed up over that hill, and pulling that buck away was not going to happen. I'm very confident with myself and my gun out to 600 yards. It was time to make this happen.
Okay. What's that? Whoop! Hey!
I ranged this buck at a little over 400 yards. So I dialed my scope turret to the 400-yard dead hold setting. To make this shot, I have to have the steadiness off my bipod, and most importantly, I have to get this buck to stop and give me a standing quartering away shot.
Okay.
Yep, that was a little scope bite. I was laying slightly downhill and shooting uphill, so it got me. But it's a small price to pay for a well-placed shot. 406 yards. Went 20 yards. That was a beauty shot. Finally, walking away from me with those does, and I had nothing but the hind end, and he finally stopped. We tried yelling at him to get him to stop. He finally turned. Awesome. That is a good buck. Good clean kill too. I mean, just this year I started shooting a little more long distance ranges with the rifle. I got myself a good rifle, a dial-in scope and everything, and I worked really hard at it. I would have never taken a 400-yard shot at any animal prior to all this practice. Confidence in yourself and your equipment is definitely the key to long-range shooting success, and it can only come together with a ton of practice. But let's go get a look at this buck. It's a good deer in my books. And he's got some good mass. Kicker on this side. He is definitely not spindly. That is great. This is what we do on the Chase TV.